A very good evening from wherever you're watching as from. This is Lookuptv News. I'm Nancy Nelima, the sign language interpreter for tonight is Felista Adundo. It is Thursday, the 25th day of May 2023. We've got lots lined up for you, from politics to the courts and a lot of sporting action. Before we get into it, here are our top stories. Tonight on Lookuptv News, police officers clash with supporters of former Mungiki leader MAINA NJENGA at the DCI headquarters.
It's an active security operation area. It is out of bounds for everyone. And everything, including the curfew orders, have been extended accordingly.
Interior CS Kithure Kindiki officiates the second phase of SHAKAHOLA autopsies.
We are more than ready to resume, even if that date is tomorrow.
Kenya Kwanza plays with Azimio to resume bipartisan talks.
We have expressively requested our commissioner to arrest them very fast. Even if it is me, they arrest them very fast.
And KERICHO governor now wants the government to arrest those inciting the youth to invade multinational tea firms. The hashtag is Lookuptv News. That's Lookuptv on Twitter, Lookuptv on Facebook, and Lookuptv on our YouTube channel. Do let us know where you're watching as from using the hashtag Lookuptv News. I'll be sampling some of your feedback as we proceed with this broadcast. Let's begin. Chaos erupted at the DCI headquarters early on Thursday when former Mungiki leader MAINA NJENGA presented himself at the DCI headquarters for questioning over allegations that 2 guns and 90 rolls of bang were found in his house, among other charges. NJENGA was accompanied by his lawyer as a number of Azimio leaders made their way to the DCI offices to show solidarity. Audrey Cherotich now reports.
DCI headquarters, Thursday morning, when the former Mungiki leader MAINA NJENGA presented himself for grilling over a number of charges, including the latest 2 illegal firearms and 90 rolls of bang found in his property. Various leaders from the Azimio coalition arrived here one after the other in a show of solidarity to MAINA NJENGA. Martha Karua arrived late, and after a slight exchange with police officers, the Azimio leader seemed to have lost patience and alighted from her vehicle, confidently walking through the gates. And soon after she was let in, NJENGA's supporters outside the DCI gates jubilated. And as MAINA NJENGA was still holed up in the highly protected premises, a growing crowd had begun confrontations with police officers, forcing them to use tear gas canisters to disperse the unrelenting crowd. It was now a do-or-die situation as people scampered to safety. And after a few minutes of running battles, a sense of calm had returned, and as MAINA NJENGA was sneaked out of DCI headquarters without the glaring eyes of the cameras, but under very tight security. MAINA NJENGA's lawyer Ndegwa Njiru stated that his client had been sneaked in and out to an unknown location.
Tumeenda kumtafuta. Na hapo ndani mkoa unaambia nini hapo ndani? Hakuna kitu tumeenda tumefanya huko. Tumekaa huko chini peke yake, hawajatuongelesha, hawajachukua statement yoyote.
Jeremiah Kioni expressed his disappointment over the manner in which the government was manhunting MAINA NJENGA. As the DCI continue to unravel MAINA NJENGA's businesses, his fate will be known on the 20th of June when his case will be heard. Audrey Cherotich, Lookuptv.
Thank you for that story, Audrey. Now to the coast region. The dusk to dawn curfew in Chakama Ranch has been extended for a further 30 days. This is according to Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki, who made his way to SHAKAHOLA today. As Ian Kitani now reports, the Cabinet Secretary has urged leaders not to politicize the matter and let investigations and the exhumation exercise continue smoothly.
It's the hope that kills you, so they say. This was the case for Chakama Ranch residents who were elated with the arrival of Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki, but the elation lasted only for a while.
All the measures that I had gazetted have been extended for another 30 days. I have already signed the necessary gazette notices for the extension of all those orders. That area, known as Shakahoma Ranch, which includes the 800 acres, it is a disturbed area. It's an active security operation area. It is out of bounds for everyone.
CS Kindiki was accompanied by the chief government pathologist Johansen Odwor as the second phase of post-mortem exercise kicked off.
The suspension that took place on Thursday of the exhumation exercise is meant to allow this post-mortem exercise of the 129 bodies that are here to make sure that we are able to free this hospital mortuary because it is of limited capacity.
With hundreds of people still unaccounted for, as family members hope that they will be reunited with their loved ones yet again, their hopes were thrown into jeopardy as more graves have been discovered.
But unfortunately, we have evidence of more graves in Shakahola forest.
At least 241 bodies have been recovered, with more suspects arrested, as preliminary reports indicate that there could be more survivors unwilling to be saved.
We also believe there are more people, more victims who are holed up in that forest. And our experience in the last 2-3 weeks has shown some of the victims are attempting to escape from both the Mackenzie land.
The cabinet secretary has however urged all leaders not to politicize the matter, as the truth shall be revealed once investigations are completed.
The worst thing we can do for the victims and their families is to politicize matters and in the process get away from the bullseye, which is to make sure 2 things. 1, this never happens again. And number 2, those who did this are brought to justice.
Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Keitani. Moving on, the public participation exercise of the 2023-2024 financial bill entered day 4 as the parliamentary committee continued collecting views of Kenyans concerning the controversial bill. However, different stakeholders criticized the bill, asking Parliament to reverse it. SportPesa betting company was among the firms which appeared before the committee, terming the Bill Tax Act as unbearable to Kenyans. Shadrach Kareria now reports.
SportPesa betting company was on Thursday the first to appear before the Parliamentary Committee on Finance for public participation in the controversial 2023 and 2024 finance bill.
Then the finance bill 2023 is already going against the national tax policy.
The firm criticized the bill, arguing that it recommends for high taxation, which if not reversed may paralyze betting companies in the country.
Let's say that your winning is 1,300. You've just recovered essentially your capital and got an additional 300. So your winning is 300, and that's what has been happening in practice, and that is what has been subjected to tax. And so we are requesting that that definition of winnings be removed so that we remain with the status quo, which is taxing the winning element as has been defined by the High Court.
The bill recommends for a gambler to be taxed 20% of the cash that he or she wins after placing a bet, where the company will also be taxed 15% for advertisement. A move SportPesa says will make Kenyans keep off betting business.
Now, in terms of winnings and advertising, really, when you win and you're taxed at 20%, we are saying it's the betting companies that incur that cost eventually, because I have won 1 million shillings, I expect to see 1 million shillings in my bank account. And that's the reason why we are saying it's really a multiple taxation.
Kenya Pharmaceutical Association stated that the taxation of importation of raw materials for industries will negatively affect local industries in the country, asking the parliament to reverse the Tax Act.
And manufacturing, we agree that we should support manufacturing 100%. And we're in favor of supporting manufacturing, but not where there is no economical sense.
Manufacture is enhanced, and that's why we are saying there needs to be a level playing field. We're actually not saying 20% on local manufacturing, we're saying level the playing field and consider taking away the excise duty.
Concerns surrounding the constructions of affordable houses were served hot here as Housing PS Charles Hinga struggled to make the MPs understand the deduction of the 3% levy.
So you are contributing, but you have a direct benefit. And what is that benefit? You will get a unit that is subsidized. You will get a unit that is subsidized. And you pay whatever you pay, and your employer pays a portion for you.
And you are saying it is a voluntary contribution. It's going to be a fund. Now, which is which? Is it a tax? If it is a tax, why are we taxing the ordinary mwananchi or the poor people down there? If it is a voluntary, why don't you leave it? If it's a fund, why don't you leave it for people to come up and say, me, I'm going to join the team.
Shadrach Kareria, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Kareria, for the details. KERICHO Governor Eric Mutai now wants the government to arrest any leader uttering insightful words to the youth in KERICHO and Bomet counties, leading them to incitement to invade the multinational tea firms.
That whoever politician, beginning from me as the governor, senator, and everybody else, if we are making inciting remarks to our people, if we are politicizing violence and glorifying it, we have expressively requested our commissioner to arrest them very fast. Even if it is me, they arrest them very fast. So that as we arrest those who are demonstrating, we also arrest politicians who are financing, who are sponsoring, and who are leading to incitement. And we have all repented and said that this KERICHO belongs to all of us. We want to work as a team, and we are calling upon the Facebook users. The Facebook users, use your social media properly. In fact, preach peace. And we are also ask our commissioner and the commander, when you post a statement that leads to incitement, PR police will come for you. As they come for me, they will also come for you.
Na tumesikizana na polisi, sisi kama viongozi, we will not stand with you if you are a hooligan. We will leave you to the hands of police. And this is a very bigger matter. This can be a bigger matter than all of us may think. You know, the people we are dealing with, they also happen to be the buyers, majority buyers of our tea outside there. So you may look at it in a very simple manner, but tomorrow they might say, we are not buying your tea. Where will you take your tea? In KERICHO, KTD and Findays. So we want to say, we agree there are issues that our youths have, and we have agreed, as Senator has read, that we want to seek some dialogue.
Kazi yetu sisi kama viongozi kuona ni njia gani tutaafikiana mpaka wananchi waweze kupata kazi bila ya sisi kuwafukuza ama kufanya jambo ambalo litaumiza uchumi wetu sisi kama KERICHO. Na ukisoma ile task force report, kuna recommendations ambazo tulikuwa tumepeana. Ndiposa tumekutana hapa siku ya leo. Tunataka tuzungumze kwa sauti moja kama viongozi. Tuambiane KERICHO ni nyumbani yetu. Uchumi wa KERICHO ni wetu sisi wote. Tukijenga, tunafaidika sisi wote. Ikiharibika, si tunaumia sisi wote.
Know very well that the land belongs to the people. But at this point in time, we must also attract investment. Investors must come and do good business within our borders. And that's why His Excellency, the Governor of Bomet, is advocating for a peaceful process.
And the move by Azimio to temporarily stop the bipartisan talks between the two sides has been criticized as premature by Kenya Kwanza, who claimed that there are no differences between the Kenya Kwanza faction with that of Azimio. Addressing the press at Parliament buildings on Thursday, Kenya Kwanza Committee co-chair George Muragara lamented that Azimio did not exhaust all avenues of resolving the underlying issues that may have emerged.
Our immediate response this afternoon is that by the Azimio side invoking clause 37 of the framework agreement is actually premature. We have a provision in the same bipartisan agreement, which is clause 34, subclause D, which provides that where there is a failure to reach a consensus, the two co-chairpersons are first to discuss the issues and, if possible, in consultation with their respective leaders, to discuss and try to reach an amicable agreement. We wish to inform the Azimio side that this clause has been skipped. We do not believe there are irreconcilable differences, and that in fact we should now go to clause 34D so that the matter can actually be discussed. We also wish to confirm, as the Kenya Kwanza side of the coalition, that we are always ready for these talks. The talks can resume as early as tomorrow, next week, or whenever we are informed by the other side that they are ready to resume. Towards this, and in the response that we are giving out today, I will, as the co-chairperson of the talks, give my co-chairperson, the Honorable Dr. Otiende Amolo, an invitation for a meeting under clause 34D for Monday at 2:30 p.m. so that we can again talk and see how far we are able to reconcile on any differences, which differences in our view are not irreconcilable.
And the Attorney General and the Public Service Commission on Thursday told the three-bench judge that it is the only Labour court that has jurisdiction to handle the case challenging the appointment of 50 CASs. The two say the issues in the three petitions filed before the Constitutional and Human Rights Division fall under the jurisdiction of the Employment and Labour Court. They told the three-bench judge constituted by the CJ to hear the matter that the issues of constitutionality and public participation regarding the appointment of CAS were already dealt with, and it would be improper to have two conflicting decisions coming from different courts. The case will proceed to Friday.
What's the name of your associate, Mr. Ismail? Is you alone? Tomorrow morning. The consolidated petitions shall thus proceed for hearing now, beginning with the first to that petitioner's case. The fourth petitioner, as we have directed, will address us further on the issues that I've highlighted, either today and in the course of tomorrow morning. The respondents may file any rejoinder, and again, this not exceeding 4 pages, to the petitions, but we will be at liberty in view of the time down in the afternoon to address that issue orally tomorrow.
This is Lookup News, and we are taking a very short break. There's so much more on the other side, including a lot on the business front as well as some sporting action. Don't go too far.
The story we're telling today is a story of passion in practice that grows into business.
We have partnered with the Youth Fund, talk to as many youth as possible and work with them, hold their hand.
It is an expose of captains who have decided to take on challenges in different sectors and industries within the country.
My mentors had also not started as CEOs. They grew up and they showed me how they grew in the organizations. So that's what motivated me to actually do international business. And it was a good experience.
As an individual, support in bridging that care gap, part of me also to offer a solution. I want to leave this world a better place than I found it.
This is the Captain's Arena. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage.
Hey darling, are we still on for a coffee date?
I'm waiting for you to come and pick me up.
I should be able to pick you in a few.
It's a coffee yogurt date?
It's not just a yogurt, it's royal coffee yogurt.
Flow with the sweet taste of thick and smooth Royal Fresh Coffee Yogurt.
Royal Fresh, the royal test of freshness.
Why Malindi? Any idea why the A-list celebrities, politicians choose Malindi as a destination? Is it the sandy, spotless white beaches, the rhythmic, relaxing oceanic waves, or is it the great potential investment opportunity that Malindi has to offer? Dark Balance, we are here with a variety of projects from as low as 99,000 shillings. You get an eighth of an acre with ready title deeds. Book your plot today with only 35,000 shillings and get a free return air ticket. Be the next investor in Malindi with Dark Balance. Call us now on 0740 888 111 or 0740 888 222. Dark Balance. We promise, we deliver. Why wait? 20 Malindi.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with Lookuptv. Nancy Nelima here and Philista Edindo on the sign language interpretation. The National Defense College will be furnished to train more decision makers in the country. According to President William Ruto, the move will ensure the development of more capacity to address global challenges. According to the head of state, the training will boost the armed forces in countering the evolving threats that run through today's globalized world systems.
In particular, the fact that each year, for more than 2 decades now, the quality, rigor, and the impact of the college's programs have continued to attract participants from the Kenya Defense Forces and their counterparts from Africa and beyond. Additionally, an increasing number of government ministries, departments, and agencies are taking up the opportunity offered by this college to enhance the competencies of their senior officers and increase effective understanding of national security imperatives and strategic thought outside the mainstream national security services sector. I also wish to express my appreciation on the role and achievement of the National Defense College, an institution that has consistently maintained an admirable record and continues to make significant contribution towards positively shaping Kenya's national security and overall development agenda. Since its inception in 1997, it has sustained a magnificent tradition of providing world-class training and research on national security policy, including strategy. The National Defense College has grown steadily year after year and has attracted continuously increasing numbers of participants, such that this graduating cohort with 70 participants is the largest course so far. This is highly encouraging and commendable. I am also pleased to note the widening international reach by the college, especially in Africa, which attests to the growing appetite throughout our continent for common approaches to regional and national policy and strategy.
During the course, we have dived deep down, flipped, and reflected on Dr. Mashua's subterranean strategy formulation and implementation, Dr. Momonzau's theory of why the colonial masters could not move the Egyptian pyramids to the Europe, and the phraseology of grand strategy, intermestic and intermesticity of Professor Nwagiru in international crisis management. We have learned from the Chief of Defense Forces that decision-making is the key to success and is the function of leadership.
Now let's take a look at the business front. NCBA Group has reported a profit before tax of 6.4 billion shillings in quarter for the period ending March 31st, 2023, representing a 32% jump from the 4.8 billion shillings reported during a similar period under review last year. Julia Chepkoech with more on this report and other stories in our business roundup.
NCBA indicated the results are on the back of the strong operating income, as the company registered a profit after tax of 5.1 billion shillings, representing 49% growth, up from 3.4 billion shillings in the first quarter of 2022. The group indicated that they look to maintain their business fundamentals that have seen them grow in quarter one. Net assets for the lender grew to 629 billion shillings. Customer deposits closed at 500 billion shillings, 7% up year on year for the period under review. The group additionally disbursed digital loans amounting to 223 billion shillings, which is a 37% increase year on year. All eyes are still on NCBA as it awaits the final ruling of the court, after it was granted a temporary court order protecting it from paying taxes arising from the merger that gave birth to the group. Meanwhile, Embu County will now benefit over 4 billion shillings as the preparations for Madaraka Day continues. The preparations has seen the county develop different projects, as President William Ruto on the 26th of May will officially open the exhibition set to promote small businesses in the county.
Tuko na bahati kwa sababu tarehe 26 tutakuwa tuna host His Excellency the President kufungua expo ya MSMEs katika Embu University. Tarehe 27 tutakuwa na pia Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, ambapo tutakuwa tuna host pia yeye katika expo. Pia tarehe 30 tutakuwa tuna host His Excellency the Deputy President katika hiyo expo na maneno zingine. Na hiyo yote tunafanya kwa sababu Embu sasa imeweza kuingia kwa map ya Kenya.
Ayo Foods Limited has now become the first company in Kenya in the food and beverage industry to be controlled by a B Corp organization. That company, dealing with the manufacture of dairy products, has been one of the 60 companies with the same control in Africa. This comes after the company is able to reach international market standards. Juliet Chepkoech, Lookup News.
Time now to get sporty. The 43rd Kenya Defence Marathon entered day 2 at the Ulinzi Sports Complex. In women's 3,000 steeplechase, Winnie Boynette clinched gold after recording a time of 9 minutes and 45 seconds. Winnie now shifts focus on national championship as well as this marathon at Budapest.
Yeah, 3,000 meters steeplechase. Yeah. Shindano imekuwa competitive juu nilikuwa najua Marion Kibori is the defending champion. So sikuwa natarajia ni kimbia hiyo 9 minutes. Yeah, but nimeona naweza train barriers na nikuwe sawa kwa 3,000 meters steeplechase. Hii itanipea moral ni prepare kwa World Championship. Mungu akijalia. Yeah.
And KCB Racing Team driver Evans Kavisi has heightened his preparation for the WRC Safari Rally set to commence on June 22nd to 25th of 2023 in Naivasha. The driver, alongside his navigator Absalom Aswani, will be looking to turn their fortunes around during this year's edition of the Safari Rally, having retired last year due to engine problems at the power stage in the last stage of the race.
We generally are done with the car. It's ready. So we've just come to test to see if everything works together. So we found a few things that we have enough time to change, so not a big problem. I think we only got to the second last stage, yeah? And we had a catastrophic engine failure. It was not a maintenance issue or anything like that. We just had a small accident. This time around, the preparations are, yes, to make the car reliable, and 2, to stick to the road. We normally say 80% of a rally is won in a workshop. So that's the 80% we are dealing with. The 20 is down to God and luck and just how you woke up that day. So 80%. 80% is where I am.
Now, Gor Mahia and Tusker trained today ahead of the FKF Premier League top-of-the-table clash this Sunday at Nyayo Stadium. The eagerly awaited game was initially scheduled to play at Moi International Sports Centre, Kasarani, but the reigning champions Tusker asked the host team change the venue to Nyayo Stadium.
Spirits, you know, the training intensity's been good. It's been really good, in fact, and the quality's been there. So, you know, it's been nice to have a few extra days. They had a day off yesterday, and yeah, back in today now for that sort of, you know, run up to the finish line on Sunday for the game against Tusker. Obviously, they've added a couple of players in the mid-season transfer window. The new left back, obviously Levin, joined them, who's very talented. And there's one or two other changes in there. Obviously, Ojok's back playing regularly. He had a little period where he wasn't in the side. And they've had one or two sort of injuries who've come back. So, but in terms of their setup and their structure, there's not a lot of difference. You know, Tusker are a team who, they're what I would call a no-thrills team.
Since we are on top of the league right now, so this is something that will keep us pushing. We're just looking for the Sunday game, of which we are all motivated to win the game.
And we've come to the end of the broadcast, but let me sample some of your feedback before I leave. Protest YTT across Facebook. He says, are you watching this? He's asking you. Definitely, this is Look Up News right here on Lookuptv. And James Kinyo says, hiding behind all this politics, leaders who don't want to do their jobs. Kenya is in trouble. Those are his sentiments. That's all the time we had for you today. I am Nelima, the sign language interpreter is Phil.